guys will be joining your sisters Tuka and Batla in a little, inshallah. And basically our message is to spread more awareness and really explain how we shouldn't jump to conclusions on judging others, whether it's because of literally anything, whether we judge them because of race, environment, where they grew up, gender. This doesn't matter at the end of the day, because we have more similarities than differences, and we all are human and we belong to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and Allah created us also uniquely, but we're all human at the end of the day, right? And it's actually beautiful to grow and learn and accept every single unique culture and different beliefs and values, because we get to see and explore and really understand every point of view. And I find that super awesome, and I'm sure we all do, right? So this setting of a story that I'm going to start off with is a setting between the Sahabis and the companions of the Prophet ﷺ, where they would gather and hold discussions and learn and grow in their knowledge. And inshallah we can learn from this story as well. So basically it starts off with Abu Dharr radiallahu anh, giving his input about a matter between, the battle affairs and his own input, right? And Bilal ibn Rabah radiallahu anh, another companion of the Prophet ﷺ, he didn't necessarily agree with what Abu Dharr was saying. So yeah, he didn't agree. And so Abu Dharr, he had been really upset and insulted him and said something very ill. He basically said, "Even you, son of a black woman, would want to object against me." And can you imagine this? Bilal would be really taken aback, and Bilal was very shocked. He was so shocked because 20 years from their time, 20 years prior, there was a time of Jahiliyyah, basically, where people, didn't know what was better, or basically they didn't have the knowledge, and they treated each other with tribalism, which basically means they thought that people were more superior because they were from this tribe, or they were more superior because they had this much money or this much wealth. Whatever the case may be, tribalism was really a bad way of thinking. It's basically just judging someone just because you're from a different tribe, thinking that you're better. And this is a really, as I mentioned, a bad mentality to think, because it's wrong to say I am better than you because maybe because I have a better car, or I have better clothes, or I have not even wealth, I come from a different background, or I have a lighter skin tone, or I have a different race than you. All these factors do not matter, and we should treat each other with respect, because we all deserve it. So he went to the Prophet ﷺ and told him about this confrontation he had. And he told him, "O Messenger of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, one of your companions, Abu Dharr, that follow you, spoke to me the way that the Arabs used to, during Jahiliyyah, during the ignorance." So does that exist in Islam? He asked the Prophet ﷺ, does that exist in Islam? And let's just pause the story. Let's talk about Bilal ibn Rabah. He went through so much troubles in his life. And he was basically an ex-slave. He had no family, he had no money, and he really didn't have anyone to support him. The only one he had was Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that he can really rely on. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the most greatest, the most high, and he wants the best for all the people that he had created. And the Prophet ﷺ, he went to Abu Dharr. He confronted him. He asked him, "Is what I heard true? Is what I heard about you true? You saying this and this about Bilal?" And Abu Dharr, admitted. He said, "Yes, O Messenger of Allah." And the Prophet ﷺ said, "O Abu Dharr, you're a man till this day. That mentality and the attitude of ignorance are still in you." So basically, he's saying that ignorance is still in you, even though before Islam, Jahiliyyah, when people, spoke ill and, thought they were more superior than others, he said, you basically still have that same mentality in you, to Abu Dhar. Abu Dhar, it sinked in, and he realized, that was very ill what he said. He acknowledged the mistake. He tried to, go find Bilal ibn Rabah radiallahu anh, and he tried to find him, and he found him in a distance, walking from afar. So when he approached him, he put his hand on the ground. He said, "Oh Bilal, step on my head so I learn. Oh Bilal, step on my head so I learn." Can you imagine that? Guess what Bilal did? Guess what he did? Usually you'd be that's a very upsetting thing to hear from someone, to just say something very ill to another person. That hurts deep down, right? But Bilal, out of the humility and khushu' and respect, he picked up his head and kissed it. Imagine the level of humbleness and this level of Islam. MashaAllah, it's definitely, this is what Islam teaches, how we should love our brothers and sisters, and Abu Dhar definitely, should have learned from his lesson, that there's no difference between anyone. And the empathy that Bilal showed was very heroic and a very beautiful way. And no aggression was put in place. And it shows how we shouldn't divide. We should stick together because we need each other. Because, we're human and we need each other at the end of the day. And off to Watfa for the next part, inshallah.
Assalamu alaikum guys, my name is Watfa, and inshallah I'll be picking up where Toka left off. So from the story Toka told, we learn about Bilal ibn Rabah radiallahu anhu, and we learned that he was a black Muslim, and he was the first mu'adhin of Islam, but he was also not treated the way he deserved to be treated by the Muslims and the people at the time. And when he wasn't being treated with the respect he deserved, the Prophet ﷺ intervened and said that it wasn't okay, and that everyone deserves to be treated with respect, everyone deserves to be treated with kindness, and that if you are going to treat someone poorly, you have to apologize to them. You can't just be okay with it. And we can connect this to our lives because a lot of times we aren't the most respectful to other people, and we don't treat people the way they deserve to be treated. And then even if we do hurt people, we don't apologize. And this also connects, this whole story connects to a hadith that the Prophet ﷺ says in his last khutbah before he passes away. The Prophet ﷺ says that all of mankind is from Adam and Eve, and that an Arab has no superiority over a non-Arab, nor does a non-Arab have superiority over an Arab. And then he continues and says, someone who is white does not have superiority over someone who is black, and someone who is black does not have superiority over someone who is white, except in piety and in good action. So from this, we can see straight up, the Prophet ﷺ tells us, no matter what color your skin is, you are not better than anyone else. No matter what background you come from, you are not better than someone else. The only way you could be better than someone is in your connection with Allah. And in order for us to say, oh, I'm better than someone because of my connection with Allah, we have to look back at ourselves and think, oh, if I'm judging someone, my connection with Allah probably isn't the best. Because if you have a good connection with Allah and you have good character, you would not judge other people because you know that's not your place, but rather you would judge yourself. So when you're about to judge someone else and you look at someone, you're like, oh, they have different color skin, or oh, they wear their hijab differently, or they, dress differently, they act differently, they're so much different, and I'm better than them because I don't act that way. Before you think to say something like that, you should look back at yourself and think, oh, when was the last time I prayed? And if I prayed, when was the last time I prayed on time? When was the last time I was focused in my salah? Or when was the last time I treated my parents with kindness and respect instead of raising my voice? When was the last time I didn't fight with my siblings? Think about all the things that you can improve on before you look at someone else and look at how they're different than you and think, oh, well, I'm better than them because I look different. Or because more people look like me and they don't look like them, so therefore I'm better. That is so wrong and it's so incorrect. And as Muslims, the Prophet ﷺ tells us, when you see something like this, you're not supposed to act like that. You're supposed to fight it and you're supposed to act better. And you are supposed to treat people in the best way possible, no matter who they are or what background they come from. And in order for you to the only way you could ever be better than anyone else is if you are close with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that is not your place to judge. It's Allah's place to judge. So in this world, you are never allowed to say you're better than someone else. And at a time right now where our black brothers and sisters, they need our support and they need our help, we need to be the people that are fighting for them. We need to be the ones who are advocating for them and that when someone is treating them with disrespect and someone is being rude, we have to defend them because they deserve the respect that the Prophet ﷺ said Bilal ibn Rabah deserved. They deserve to be treated just like anybody else deserves to be treated. And at this point in time, they have been fighting for years to get that same respect that some of us get already without even trying to get it. I ask that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, makes it easy on our black brothers and sisters and also educates us so that way we can help them as well. And at this time, please make sure you're keeping them in your dua. And that's all I have for you guys today. Assalamu alaikum.